So you passed the test, congratulations, and now you are on the journey to finding a broker to support you. Now cue all the advice that everybody's going to give you. Join this team, join that team. My broker's the best. You're going to find out really quick that everybody has an opinion, and if you're not careful, you're going to make the most important decision based upon somebody else's story. Now here's what they don't tell you in real estate school, that your brokerage matters, and it matters a lot, but it only matters when it fits you. So stick around, because I'm going to share some top questions to ask when interviewing a brokerage so that your career starts with clarity and not confusion. I'm also going to give you a mindset shift. It's going to set you apart from 90% of the new agents. And I'll add some bonus pointers in there to ensure that you make the most informed and intelligent decision in your career. So let's start here. Most agents who land in my office, they don't ask the right questions, because they say things like, I need broker support. But support is very vague. Every brokerage is going to support you with paperwork, legal compliance. Now that's just the minimum. So what you really need to know is, what kind of support do you need in this next phase of your life and your business? Because real support is going to look like coaching, training, accountability, mastermind, and consulting. That's not a bonus, that's a development system, and without it, you are just going to wing it. So the first question I want you to ask is, what does your new agent development system look like? I want you to ask them, walk you through it. Not just a class or two, you need something sustainable and proven. You need to ask how they're going to track your progress. You need to ask who's actually checking in on you, and what happens when you feel stuck. Because it's not going to be if you get stuck, it's going to be when you get stuck. Now the second question, what happens when you don't hit your goals? Because most new agents, they don't even think about that part, but it's one of the most important things to know. You need to ask how they track your production. How are they specifically going to know when you're falling short? Because the right brokerage is already watching you from the background. They're already waiting and ready to help you course correct. Now, you don't want to wait until you're drowning to find out if someone's going to come in and help you or throw you a lifeline. You're going to want to make sure that they are staying ahead of it themselves. Now, the third question I want you to ask is, what's the average time frame from licensing to first closing in your office? Not what the industry standards are, what that office standards are, because you need to set realistic expectations. Not hype, not hope, but real data. This timeline is going to give you insight into how effective this system is and how much financial runway you need. You need to go in prepared. You don't need to operate with commission breath, because it's going to be obvious and repel the very clients that you are trying to attract. Now let's talk about everybody's input. Everybody's going to tell you what they think is best for you. But here's what I want you to remember, that you don't know why someone else had the experience they had. You don't know what their goals and their business model or their production level is. And most importantly, you might not even want what it is that they have. So filter the noise, interview for your needs and not theirs. And please don't get into real estate if you just like looking at houses, because I can tell you that wears off really fast. Now in this industry, you can make as much as you want or as little as you want in this business. So let's be clear early on. You need to identify what in your life you're funding through real estate. Because if you're just chasing accolades without intentions, you are going to wake up years from now and wonder what it is that you were even chasing. Identify your why early on and make decisions that align with it. Now, something else most agents never even think to ask is, how does this brokerage choose who they partner with? Do they take anyone with a license, or is it a selective process? Because that matters. If they take everyone, you have to ask yourself, am I just going to be a number here? Are they going to be intentional with my business, or am I just part of a strategic growth plan? I want to be, and you should want to be, surrounded by high-minded and driven professionals, because the right office is going to see your potential and choose you as much as you choose them. They're not just going to be filling chairs. They're building something, and they want you to be a part of that. So pay attention to that selection process. Now, as I said earlier, be aware when you start chasing the next deal and the next accolade, because you need to ask yourself, what am I really building, and what in my life am I trying to fund, and what kind of life do I want this business to give me? Because if you don't identify the why and that true north of what it is that you're funding, and you don't get clear on that early on, you're going to spend many years chasing success that's never going to feel like enough. And one day you're going to be looking back, asking yourself, What was it that I was even chasing and why? So your final checklist before you choose a brokerage: do they have a structured development system? Do they know how to support you if you fall short, when you fall short? And do they track your progress and coach you up? Do they choose agents with intention? And do they know how to help you connect to your goals in life? Don't settle, interview well, and choose a brokerage that helps you become the person that you want to be. This is Shayla Dean with Speaking of Real Estate, and I will see you in the next video.